Hello and welcome to the Industry Insider Podcast. I'm the reporter for this week, Sam Haupt. On the call, I have Mark Puente, CEO of Premier Services, who's here to talk about their certified radio program. Hi, Mark.
Hi, how are you? Thanks.
So, Mark, can you give me a brief introduction about what it is Premier Services does?
Sure. Premier Services is a national company that's located throughout the United States and Canada that addresses the area of audio losses in the vehicle. I started the business about 30 years ago. We'll be 30 years old this year when my personal car got broken into. The process was the audio stolen and the glass broken, and the process was a kind of a miserable one. And so I said, there's got to be a better way. And so we created a mobile operation whereby we go out to the insured's vehicle mobily and take care of the loss. We currently operate about 2,700 shops throughout the United States, and we direct our work through our shops. Our primary customer today is the insurance company, the insurance carriers, and as well as the auto body repair shops.
Mm-hmm. Now, what can you tell me about Premier Services' partnership with LKQ for the new certified radio program?
Great question. What we've seen is historically we have always dealt in the aftermarket replacement, which is your Kenwood and your Pioneer and your Panasonic audio equipment. Mm-hmm. And we've seen the trend of that product and the theft of that product going down over the course of the last probably 4 to 5 years. And we've then simultaneously we've seen an increase in what we call in the OEM radio market, which what we call today the infotainment system or the control unit. Mm-hmm. And these units, just for an example, on a new Prius, there's 15 different models for a Prius, and they range in price from $4,000 to $8,000.
Wow.
Just for the infotainment system. So what we've seen is we're starting to see, because of the value of those radios, we're starting to see a bit of theft in that area. But more importantly, what we're seeing is the control unit or the infotainment system being damaged in a regular day-to-day collision. And so what we were finding is the need for the OEM radio repair. That was a significant market that we started a division called QRP, Quality Repaired Product. And that was our own supply chain to both the insurance carriers and the auto body repair networks, where they could buy a refurbished or a certified remanufactured radio. I personally have had a long-standing relationship with LKQ and the gentleman that runs the insurance division, Terry Fortner. I was talking with him about their radios, and they sell a significant number of radios, but when they pull them out of the vehicle, they don't know whether they're working or not, and so consequently they were experiencing a high degree of returns. And so that really is where the partnership began, when I suggested to LKQ that rather than just taking the radios out of the vehicle when they do the dismantling, that they send them to Premier Services, to our company. We put them through our certification process, pitch them in an LKQ CE, which stands for LKQ Certified Electronics box, and then we ship that back to LKQ for their inventory. So they're experiencing a significant reduction in returns and a much better and fluid customer experience.
So I just want to ask, what goes into that certification process once you get a console that's been dismantled from the vehicle?
We go through, when we receive the radio, the first thing that we want to do is we want to make sure that the interchange number is correct. And so we will oftentimes in the dismantling process, they can mislabel video. So they may somebody might ship, and this goes for any aftermarket auto part supplier. They often will ship the incorrect radio when that radio is ordered. So the first and foremost thing that we do is we properly identify the radio. Then each radio is put on one of our technicians' benches, and we go through. And if there's a broken screen. We will replace it with a new screen. We'll go through and make sure all the solder points. We'll find out what the damage is into the interior unit, and we'll replace any necessary parts that are damaged in the radio. But most importantly, what we do is we do what we call, everybody has a smartphone today. And when they connect that smartphone to that infotainment system, all of that data, whether you're in your own car or a rental car, all of that data gets transcribed and downloaded to that infotainment system. So all of your personal data is on those radios. If your car is salvaged and goes to a totaled and goes to a salvage yard, all of your data is on that radio. And we call that PII, personal identifiable information. And so we go back down to the root of that radio into the computer system, and we clear all of the PII. So we really do prevent the transfer of personal identification. Then we certify it. It's guaranteed for as long as that owner owns the vehicle. It's guaranteed to work. It's plug and play because, as you know, most of these new units require a code. So when a repair facility installs the radio, oftentimes they'll have to ferry the car over to a dealer for the dealer to give it a code. We put a tag on the certified radio with that code, so when the LKQ CE box shows up at the repair facility, they've got everything they need to plug and play.
Mark, how long has the certified radio program been in production? How long has this been sort of in development?
Right. Well, we started the program conceptually about a year and a half ago. Then what we did with LKQ, as you know, LKQ is a very large organization, so it takes a while to get the programming and systems and the inventory control setups and all of that done. So I would say from an operational standpoint, to get all that set up was 6 to 8 months. And we maintained that we started building the original inventory in one of their Southern California locations in Santa Fe Springs. And we're now building solid inventory throughout 5 major locations. We've got the Southern California location, the Pacific Northwest location, the Northeast, Mid-Atlantic, and then we have Texas. And we're preparing right now as we speak to inventory for the Canadian market.
Now, is there any sort of ETA you can give on that Canadian debut?
Well, I wish I could, but I would say it will be within the next 180 days. I wish I had something more specific, but the program is going along so well now that we're looking at enhancing the program, and we're just in talks right now about them sending the radios to us directly from their dismantler's operation. So when that happens, that would be an enormous enhancement, and I think that'll probably take another 2 to 3 months to execute on that.
Now, Mark, you mentioned a point towards cybersecurity and PIIs. Do you believe that this is something that should become a standard? Surely the general public should know that their information could be taken away once they sell a vehicle, or maybe it's destroyed and it's a write-off, or maybe it's getting repaired. Surely that something like clearing that information should become standard practice.
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, if you're familiar with SB 5, which is a Senate Bill 5 that the governor of California just signed into law, it is all about personal identifiable information, and it requires it holds repair facilities and anyone for that matter, dealerships included, liable for the transfer of the vehicle owner's information in the infotainment system. So should it become a standard? Absolutely. We see that as as identification theft is become so prevalent in the world today. We see this as a big a big area of something that should be standardized. And as you said, many people don't know, very, very few people know that when they plug in their vehicle, when they plug in their smartphone to a rental vehicle or their own vehicle, much of their data is transferred over.
So, Mark, where can people go to learn more about this certified radio program?
Well, you can go to two different websites. The primary website that I think would be probably the most helpful would be www.premierservices.com, and that's PREMIERE, servicesplural.com. And then you can also go on www.lkqcorp.com and go into search certified electronics, and that will bring you into their page.
Excellent. All right, Mark, thank you so much for talking with me today.
Thank you very much for having us. We really appreciate it. Thanks so much.
Absolutely. Take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.